What if the walls of Britain's castles could speak? What secrets would they tell of ambition, blood, and betrayal? Across the mist-covered hills of England, Wales, and Scotland rise monuments not just of stone, but of domination. Castles, symbols of strength, yet witnesses to some of the darkest chapters in British history. They were born from conquest, forged in war, and ruled by kings who trusted no one, not even their own kin. Behind their mighty gates, power was won, love was betrayed, and crowns were stolen under the cover of night. Welcome to Echoes of Empire, where we bring the forgotten stories of Britain's past back to life. The story begins in 1066, the Norman invasion. When William the Conqueror crossed the Channel and defeated Harold at Hastings, he didn't just claim the English crown. He reshaped an entire nation. To secure his rule, William built castles, fast, massive, and terrifying. Motte and Bailey fortresses rose almost overnight, their wooden towers casting long shadows over conquered towns. They weren't just defenses, they were psychological weapons, reminders of who ruled and who obeyed. From these early structures grew the great stone castles, like the Tower of London, symbols of Norman authority and royal fear. For every brick laid, there was blood beneath it. The castles of medieval Britain became more than fortresses, they became thrones of power. In these cold stone halls, kings plotted wars, nobles schemed, and enemies vanished without trace. The Tower of London, once a royal residence, soon turned into a prison for traitors and rivals. Anne Boleyn walked its halls before meeting her fate beneath the executioner's blade. Whispers of betrayal echoed through every corridor, from the Wars of the Roses to the days of Tudor intrigue. Each tower stood as both crown and coffin, where power was built and broken. As centuries passed, castles evolved from fortresses to palaces of splendor. Inside, the flicker of torchlight revealed golden tapestries, roaring feasts, and dancing shadows of ambition. Yet outside those walls, rebellion brewed. At Warwick, Edinburgh, and Carnarvon, royal banners flew over blood-soaked grounds. Each victory carved deeper divides between kings and their people. The castles that once united Britain now guarded its fractures. But even amid the grandeur, betrayal was never far. Trust was a luxury, loyalty a gamble, and a dagger in the dark often spoke louder than a crown. What is a castle without its secrets? Beneath the halls of power lay dungeons, damp, silent chambers that swallowed confessions, both true and false. The cries of rebels, spies, and traitors filled the darkness. During the Wars of the Roses, castles became battlegrounds of family and fate, where bloodlines tore themselves apart for a throne gilded with misery. Betrayal was the language of kings, and castles were its grammar. Some were executed, others simply disappeared. Their ghosts linger still, whispering through ruined towers and broken gates. By the 17th century, the age of castles was dying. Gunpowder and cannons rendered thick walls useless. Civil war tore through Britain, and many once mighty fortresses were destroyed by the very people they once protected. Windsor survived. Edinburgh endured. But countless others, Corfe, Kenilworth, Raglan, fell to ruin. Yet in their decay, they gained something greater, legend. For the first time, castles became symbols not of fear, but of heritage. The stone that once divided now united. The Victorians looked upon the ruins not as scars, but as poetry. Artists painted them, poets wept for them, and tourists journeyed to see their broken beauty. What had been tools of conquest now became reminders of a glorious, violent past. From literature to film, British castles became icons, the backdrop to every tale of knights, betrayal, and lost love. Yet even today, beneath the charm and romance, their dark history still lingers, in every crack, every echo, every stone. Centuries may have passed, but the legacy of British castles endures. They stand as monuments to ambition, warning, and wonder intertwined. They remind us that power, once seized, is never truly secure, and that every crown carries the shadow of betrayal. From Norman invaders to modern tourists, from royal conspiracies to Hollywood fantasies, the story of Britain's castles is the story of power itself. Because in the end, these castles weren't just built to protect kings. They were built to preserve their fears. The walls of Britain's castles still breathe. They have seen the rise of empires, the fall of dynasties, and the unending dance between power and ruin. If you listen closely, you might still hear the whispers of the betrayed, the victorious, the forgotten. These are not just ruins. They are Britain's memory carved in stone. This was Echoes of Empire. Subscribe for more untold stories from the heart of Britain's history.